Right, what's happening, people, and welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. First of all, I have to apologise to you. I could not get myself to the studio today, but I have come up with the second best option, and that is to get the big dog over a Zoom link, whatever you want to call it, Riverside, I think we're actually using today. Josh, how does it feel to be in the presence of the Oracle, the man that predicted it all? When the decline started, this man right here said to you, don't worry, be happy, because every little thing's going to be all right.
It's a pleasure. And you know what, mate? I always feel that sort of glowing warmth of someone that can predict the future whenever I'm in your presence, to be honest with you. You said if we get 3 wins in a row, then it's game on, didn't you? Let's be honest. And look what's happened.
What did I say to you, right? I said to you, we are not losing this game. And then we went to score predictions, and I said 2-1 win. And I don't know, you obviously didn't because you were at the game, but I don't know whether you saw it in the live stream. At half time, they said, right, score prediction now. And I went, I said, you know what? We've defended really, really well. I said, I do think Liverpool will get one back. But I said, I think we're going to win this 3-1. I said, I think we'll probably be 2 goals ahead. They'll pull one back. They'll go all out to get a third and to get a second, and then we'll get a third. And I predicted a Cole Palmer penalty.
Do you know what, mate? You must have won a lot of money yesterday if you know, because you put all of this on stake, mate, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Like, you obviously did that. So, you obviously made, 10 grand yesterday with all of these predictions. I mean, a Cole Palmer penalty in the 93rd minute.
Don't tell them too much. Probably... Saxman might be watching.
Do you know what's brilliant about this is? There were a lot of people, Joey, that were laughing at you earlier on in the season about your positivity and about how well you thought we'd actually end the season. And you have proven quite a lot of people wrong, and the team have as well. I mean, let's be honest, mate. They're big fans of the podcast, so they've obviously listened to what you're saying.
There's a little way to go yet, so let's not speak too soon. But there weren't only people that were laughing at me. Let's be honest, yeah? I remember me and you sat in Saudi, right? After, I think with every massive, massive high comes a low. But I remember me and you being sat there, and I'm like, people are just being fucking negative towards me, like whatever, and people are venting their frustration. And this is when the decline had started to happen, right? And I was saying, like, people are just being fucking negative towards me and whatnot, and like, I don't get it. And you're like giving me the life advice as usual and saying, like, don't be silly, mate, like whatever. And I'm saying, like, it's not like I'm going out there and like mugging people off and being rude about people and saying this player shit, that player shit. I'm actually doing the complete opposite. I'm spreading positivity, and I'm saying, like, look, if we can be positive, yeah, trust me, there's a thing called vibes. And if you give a positive energy off, yeah, I know this, mate. I'm not a hippie, right? But I know that if I walk into a room with a positive energy, no matter how what the sort of room feeling is at that time, I know that my vibes can spread. And if I'm sat inside Stamford Bridge, or if my videos have inspired those that are sat inside Stamford Bridge, like you yesterday, to be able to go into it and go, do you know what? We ain't done this in 3 years, but fuck it, I think we can do this today. If that can happen, that can happen. And now it sounds like I'm an egomaniac and I'm taking responsibility for Enzo Maresca's work and the 11 players on the field and the substitutes that came on. But I'm just saying, people, never judge a story until you get to the end of it. And I've always said that, yeah. I will be the judge at the end of the season. And listen, the jury's still out, but fuck me, it's looking good.
As a percentage, players, Maresca and Joey Knight, what percentage, impact are you making? 80?
No, that's smug. That's smug to say 80. I'd say 75.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I have to say, mate, the atmosphere in the ground yesterday was, you obviously weren't there, it was exceptional.
That was right what I was about to ask you.
Yeah, it was mental. Like, obviously, we get the early goal, all the pressure's then off, the nervousness that would be around that game is off, and fuck me, we just enjoyed it. Like, honestly, there were some songs that I haven't heard in a very long time being sung. There was at one point the national anthem. Honestly, I think there were a few heads gone It was beautiful. It was absolutely exceptional.
Has
And
anyone started singing my Pedro Neto song yet?
No, they just sing Joey Knight over and over again. It's oh Joey Knight. It's the Shed just love it. Do you know what? It was really funny because you remember earlier in the season, like Maresca was saying, "Oh, we need to have the fans on our backs to be able to then go and achieve things." I think ultimately we needed the players to pull it out, and the players did really pull it out yesterday. And I think that really did inspire the atmosphere. And I think now, obviously, we've only got one more game at home, which is a Friday night, which will be a really good, really big game. But I do think the crowd is going to really propel us now to that next level. And I'm really excited to have that game. And let's be honest, that is the easiest game left of the entire season now against Man United. So I look forward to that. But we'll discuss a few more games left.
I won't be watching it.
You won't be watching it. Do you know why?
Because I'm going to
be a part-time fan.
No, I'm going to be in the ring, aren't I?
You are going to be in the ring. Can I tell
you something, right? Last time I was in the ring, September.
Yeah.
We weren't looking amazing, sort of thing. We hadn't won, I don't think, in a couple of games. And I come out the ring, and straight away, Oscar Bevis from the Stomping Ground, he interviewed me, and I knew he's a Chelsea boy. So straight away, first thing I said to him, he wants to talk about the fight I've just had, boxing, whatever. I went, "Was Chelsea score?" And he's gone 1-0. I went, "Chelsea," and he went, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yes!" And then
I love that.
Everyone's like, "Bloke's just lost the fight, but he's all happy that Chelsea have won." I'm like, "Yeah."
That's where the bread's buttered. Yeah.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. So yeah, I imagine I'll be getting out the ring, and not only will I be celebrating a big knockout win, I'll be celebrating us absolutely thumping Man United.
5-0.
There you go. Well-deserved winners yesterday, would you say?
I mean, looking at the stats, we're well-deserved winners, didn't we? We scored 3 goals. We hit the fucking post. We got an offside goal. I mean, we couldn't have had any more sort of opportunities if we tried. Let's be honest. That Cole Palmer goal, by the way, would have been so beautiful.
I know.
That would have been so beautiful. But yeah, no, we well deserved it. Look, I don't want to hear anyone go on about, oh, Liverpool were at the, they were on the pints. Oh, they weren't actually winning. Oh, they put out their second team. I don't give a fuck. We beat Liverpool. Who cares? We've finally beaten the duck of beating top 6 teams. Who gives a fuck, mate? It was brilliant. You enjoyed it.
But I mean, mate, they did put out their second team, really. Like, obviously, Alisson, when does he ever get in ahead of Kelleher? You know what I mean? When does Trent Alexander-Arnold ever get in? When have the Liverpool fans ever kicked up a fuss about the potential of Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving? Virgil van Dijk, like, is he better than Quansah? You know what I mean? It takes 2 to tango, and it took 2 to tango for him to hit it off Quansah's back into the back of the net. So there you go, You might look at the likes of Curtis Jones and say, "Oh, well, Gravenberch," but actually have a little look at how many appearances Curtis Jones has made this season. I mean, Mo Salah, I know he's a Chelsea reject. Obviously, he's in the old who needs him club with Kevin De Bruyne, i.e. we don't, but he's still, he still plays a few games here and there for Liverpool, doesn't he?
He does. He does.
Jota, he still plays a few games here and there.
He does.
For Liverpool.
Gakpo still plays a few games.
I won't lie. They had the kids. They had the reserves. They were on the beach, weren't they? That's the narrative, and I'm not going to go against it. Go against it. Liverpool fans, I'm sure you're happy. Speaking of men that will probably be happy, I touched on it in yesterday's video, but nice to stick the knife in on Jamie Carragher at any given opportunity.
You were waiting for this moment.
Any chance of ever working on a gig that he's ever had. But I would just like to say, I don't give a fuck whether the overlap ever call me or not, because I wouldn't be going on it anyway. So there we go.
To be honest with you, they kind of want people like you to go at Jamie Carragher. I think that might endear you even more, to be honest with you.
Probably end up chinning him.
Mate. On Friday night, Friday the 16th of May, maybe you do need to call out Jamie Carragher. If KSI could do it for Wayne Bridge, you can do it for Jamie, can't you? That's a more exciting fight.
Oh, can you imagine? He's got a bit of a size advantage on me.
Yeah.
Then again.
It's going to be a close fight, Joey. It's going to be a close fight. I do love that was the first thing you went to, by the way. That was one of my favourite points of the entire post-match review, actually.
The whole stream, the whole post-match review, all of it was just off the cuff. Like,
slacking Jamie Carragher off.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But it was
I fucking enjoyed it. Did you enjoy the game, mate? I think based on your stream, you did.
Honestly, God's honest truth, right?
Go on.
You know yourself, and I'm not going to go into things, but I've needed a bit of cheering up recently. It's the happiest I've been in months.
Yeah.
Well,
that just shows you.
I found out I was having a boy. I was very happy that day. But apart from that, it's that...
I mean, it's close to that moment, isn't it, Joey? Like, those two are close.
Oh.
What?
She don't watch my videos. No, I was happier. She's not going to know. I was happier than when I found out I was having a boy.
And by the way, he did a knee slide when he heard about his son, so that just shows you how excited he was.
Yeah.
Mate, honestly, we've you've needed this. I think we've all needed this as Chelsea fans, everyone watching recently. I think there's been a bit of a moment of apathy around the club recently, hasn't there? There's been a lot of is the club actually ever going to progress? Are we actually going to go back to the way that we were? Is there actually light at the end of this tunnel that we've been in the last 3 years? And I think, you know, the way that we could potentially end this season, it could be transformative for the club, for the fan base, for everything. You know, like I think there's a real potential here that we've now got, you know, 5, but let's call it 4 because with the second leg in the Conference League is a gimme. We've got 4 cup finals now until the end of the season, and all of those games, they are winnable games. I don't care what anyone is saying. Like, Newcastle is a tough fucking fixture. Forest is going to be a tough fixture, but they are all winnable games. And if we do that, mate, if we win all of our games coming up...
Right, people, I just want to quickly take this opportunity to tell you about new partners of the channel, Squawka. When you're in the YouTube industry like I am, there is a certain type of service that you could very much do with having on your side, and that is the service that stops you making blunders. And when I'm preparing for some of my videos, I use the website Squawka to use the player comparison matrix, and that helps me get a better understanding of comparing the players that I'm talking about. For example, a lot of you guys know that for every Chelsea game, I put out my preferred starting lineup, and I do look into the underlying numbers of the players I'm picking and the players that I'm comparing, and that's where Squawka comes in. They offer the best player comparison matrix on the internet. The website is so efficient and so easy that even I can use it. For example, when I'm picking from Chelsea's 30 to 40 odd wingers that we've got at the club, I can very easily jump onto Squawka and see how their stats compare. But you don't need to be a YouTuber to need to use Squawka. You could use it for your bets when you're betting on first goal scorer and things like that. It could give you a better indication. Or you could just use it to look like a genius down the pub, and we all like to do that, don't we? So thank you very much to Squawka for not only helping me prepare for my videos, but also partnering up with the channel. So help support me by supporting the guys that support the channel in Squawka. They are linked in the description for this video. Let's get back into it.
I'm telling you now, not only could we be in the Champions League, but we could finish third. Can I explain my rationale on this?
No.
Like, basically, I don't think Arsenal is a guaranteed second place finish. I'm sorry, I don't think they are anymore. Like, you look at the games they've got coming up, they've got Liverpool, they've got Newcastle, and then obviously they've got Southampton last game of the season, I think it is. That's a gimme. They've got 3 points, you know, but they're not going to... The other two are not gimmies. And then City are probably going to end up finishing second. So, mate, honestly, we could finish with 72 points, which would be 2 more than Arsenal if they lose 2 of their upcoming games. Quite frankly, mate, the last few games here could be incredibly exciting. Has it changed what you think will finish at the end of the season, this Liverpool game?
No, not really, because I always felt like we were going to get Champions League qualification. I always felt like we were going to get top 5 in some way, shape or form. And I said that, look, we might get it through being lucky, you know. We might get it through other teams slipping up in areas that we really didn't expect them to. And I won't deny that that's happened to an extent. Listen, Brentford are a very good side. We know that Brentford are a good team, but I expected Nottingham Forest to beat them. I kind of thought that Fulham might do us a favour against Aston Villa. Turns out they didn't. But regardless of any of that, the whole time, the whole process going through here, I've always believed in the quality. I've always believed in the quality that we hold within this squad. And I think that if you can turn it on, then 100% we've got enough to duke it out with any team in this Premier League. And it's been a constant pain of mine, right? Imagine being me, right? And in the whole time that I've been podcasting, the whole time that I've had a YouTube channel, I've never been able to bask in the glory of celebration after a win over one of Liverpool, Man City, or Arsenal. And I finally got that yesterday, and it was just such a good moment. Looking forward now, I'm looking at it. It's game by game, like you say. We have got 4 cup finals, but I think we're hitting form at the right time. I think that yesterday was a monumental occasion for Cole Palmer. I think that yesterday some points were proven, especially when it comes to team sheets. You know, we always say it's a preferred lineup. It's not a predicted lineup. It's a preferred lineup that we put out there. But I think that there's a few things that, and again, it sounds like I'm just glazing over me and you here, right? But there's a few things that
Why not?
Why not? There's a few things that we've kind of earmarked. Some would even say shouted from the rooftops about for months, going back months now. That at the time people have really, really pushed back against. One of them was the importance of Romeo Lavia. And I understand it. Everyone's saying, well, he never gets on the field, so why are you talking about Romeo Lavia? But I've said so many times, listen, this guy is a game changer. This guy makes us tick. This guy is ridiculously good. Another one of them was the fact that we've got Caicedo that we can use as an inverted right back, and everyone's basing the season that he put in those stellar performances week in, week out for Brighton and going, oh, well, he never played right back then. No, he didn't, but he did the season before, and that's what got him into the team at Brighton and what got him the stage, the platform to perform to the ability that he did, that got him the £100 million transfer that I kind of feel that we got half price now. And there's another one that hasn't come to fruition just yet, but we've spoke about Nicholas Jackson playing left wing, and I guarantee you that at some point next season, by the end of next season, we will probably speak about Nicholas Jackson as one of our left wing options. There's so many of these things, right? Listen, I get a lot wrong. I am not an expert on football, but I fucking know my team. I know my
You're
team.
just the oracle of Chelsea.
No, but I just know my team.
You do.
And I do know these things, like Chelsea and England, I know them.
Yeah.
Fuck knows about any other team, but I know them 2 teams. And I'm telling you, I can see things. I can, and sometimes I question myself. I'm like, am I going mad here? Like, am I losing the plot here? And then days like yesterday make me think, yeah, that's why. So I touched on Romeo Lavia there. Listen, I've done enough, mate. I've done enough with Romeo Lavia right now. Otherwise, everyone's gonna think that, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna end up with the Lavia posters on my wall as you have Mykhailo Mudryk, but
or end up naming children over him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
What I would like to know is your assessment on Romeo Lavia yesterday.
I just think he makes us tick, to be honest with you. And what it is it allows players like an Enzo and a Cole Palmer to do what they need to do in the attacking phase of the pitch. And I think that is a huge thing for us, in that we get players and we get them attacking where they should be. Enzo is never ever a 6, and he should always be right up there and pressing and being high. And I think his current output and most recent output of assists and goals that he's been laying on recently is all because he has been unlocked and able to drive in and get forward. Enzo Maresca has wanted him in and around the box for a long time. He's just getting way more assists and goals, and I think this midfield 3 has got to be one that we persist with now until the end of the season, and also, to be honest, beyond. I don't know if Moises Caicedo will be called a conventional DM anymore. I think we're going to see him in this right-back role, and I think we're going to see him playing more and more there, because let's be honest, mate, we said this as well, and I'm glad you mentioned that we said this, but those 3 need to be on the pitch, and they need to be on the pitch over. I almost want them to be some of the starters on the team sheet. Do you know what I mean? Like, Cole Palmer's obviously number 1, and then I want them to be the next 3 beyond that. To be fair, because without them, it gets really difficult.
You know, one of the things that I wouldn't say I've labelled this Chelsea team with, but I've critiqued this Chelsea team about, is just not having that amount of fight that I want them to. I want there to be more fight there from this Chelsea side. And I think that the cocktail of the three of them, right, that there is something that does really, really give us that fight. And I think you've got it coming at you from all angles, because not only that, you've got Cucurella, who loves to get stuck right in. I mean, that double sliding challenge yesterday from Romeo Lavia really sums up what I'm going on about. It's the why, it's the urgency, it's the need, it doesn't matter where it is, what run of play it is, where in the game we are. It's having that urgency to be able to do that. And I think that it just inspires the rest of the players. And one thing is, at the start of the season, I started to look at this Chelsea side and I thought, right, okay, I'm not going to lie, right? I don't think defensively we're great. But what I do know is I think that we have the ability to outscore teams. If I had to put my money on it, do we manage to keep a clean sheet against any of Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City? No, I don't think we do, right? And obviously it's transpired that we haven't in the games that we played against them. But I think that the defensive performance that I saw yesterday, you've got to take into account, you know, we can't include the likes of games against Barrow and Hoffenheim and these sort of lads. I think against the top side, the defensive display that we saw yesterday was, I was about to say commendable. I'm going to change that. I think it was a coming-of-age defensive performance there, wasn't it?
It was, and I think what it proves more than anything is if they sell Trev in the summer, it is a disgrace. Like, it's so bad if they get rid of this boy. He's immense every time he gets on the pitch. He's formed a brilliant connection with Levi. And I think ultimately, if they sell him, it would prove everything wrong with the system that we currently have in terms of monetising players and losing the academy emphasis of the team. Ultimately, we know, as Chelsea fans, if you build something at the heart of your defence which actually has some heart and actually cares about how the team are performing, then you're going to get some really good results. And the way that Trevor was so unselfish, you know, he gets that yellow card, he still stays calm and on the pitch. He doesn't need to be substituted, much like, you know, unlike some other players that would need to be substituted in that role. And the connection that those two then have with a Cucurella, it's immense. And like Cucurella, again, just with a really good performance. I think Levi Colwill is constantly underrated. Yeah. And I think people have been so harsh about how good he actually is. And the fact that we're talking about replacing him is just a disgrace. And again, he's 22. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I do think with a proper goalkeeper in a Petrovic. And again, to be fair to Sanchez, he had a fair game. He was fine.
And I think Sanchez is good.
He's improving, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'd still have Petrovic over him next season.
Me too.
If it was up to me, but I think Sanchez was good. He done everything I could ask of. And one thing I think with defences, right, and I always say this, I remember we were leaking goals, Thomas Tuchel comes in, all of a sudden we're not leaking goals, we're keeping clean sheets left, right and centre, right? But we were in a moment where we weren't able to go out and sign players, and we weren't signing players at that time. And I always think that a defence is what you make of it, the organisation. And one thing you didn't see yesterday, obviously, he's got, you know, the best player in the Premier League that he's, you know, very much so at the end of the game, obviously had to come home and take the keys out, take the wallet out, and take Mo Salah out of his pocket. But Cucurella yesterday, right? Cucurella yesterday, absolutely unreal. And where did you see him and where didn't you see him? Sometimes you got to look at what you didn't see. And what you didn't see is Cucurella drifting out of position, bombing on. And by the way, I think that's instructional. I think that's quality, and that's a trait that maybe we never saw in Cucurella that Enzo Maresca has seen in him. And it's come up trumps us this season. Cucurella was at one point, and might still be, but I think at one point, our leading goal scorer since December. However, what I'm saying is Cucurella yesterday stuck to his guns. He was so organised. And I think that again shows that in terms of organisation, in terms of discipline, in terms of staying cool, calm and composed, and in terms of not letting our heads drop and crumble in a tough moment, we were so good and so well organised yesterday. There's no way that Trevor Chalobah should be being replaced. If you want to bring in another defender, bring in another defender. But Trevor Chalobah is a leader. He is an example. And he is... There's a reason why he's my favourite player at Chelsea Football Club. And that is because that this man has been... He's been through the mud at times.
He's been through everything.
He's been treated so disrespectfully. Yeah. And he's kept quiet because he knows that this club is not the ownership. This club is not the sponsorship. This club is not anything but the fans and the badge. And that is what this club is. And he has so much love for them that he will not let anything, regardless of the fans and the badge that he plays for, taint his experience at Chelsea Football Club. I think he's an absolute credit to the club and a player that will forever be criminally underrated. I think Trevor Chalobah could play alongside John Terry throughout the glory years and there would be no drop-off whatsoever. Lastly, the last thing I want to speak to you about, Josh, we had the award ceremony last night. Obviously, Moises Caicedo pocketing Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year. Is that fair?
Absolutely, it's fair. I mean, oh my God, have we seen a player as dominant as this since Cole Palmer last year? I don't think we have. I think this boy, I just don't know how he does it. Like every single game, just unreal performances. Like some of the tackles that he was putting in yesterday, he was putting his body on the line. Players going flying after being in a challenge with him. He is the most durable man I think I've ever seen. Like with the way that he can play game after game, never gets injured, constantly playing, gets whacks, gets dead legs, gets ridiculous, injuries. Some of the tackles on him yesterday were ridiculous as well. I just think he's so deserving of the award, and I'm really glad the players also voted for him as well, because quite frankly the fan vote was a guaranteed no-brainer. It was obviously Moises, but obviously the players also recognise how well he makes his team tick, and I think it's so funny because obviously you've got the duality of that he could have signed for Liverpool. I mean, they wanted all of our midfielders, to be fair, and they made sure that we knew that, by the way, in some of the reaction that they gave to them. But I think he's proven every pound of that value. And again, you and I were sat around kickoff tables and they were going, this guy could end up being a flop with the amount of money that they're spending on him, especially after that first game. We were getting shit. And again, all it is you've got to watch him week in, week out. And you've got to watch Chelsea matches for 90 minutes because he won't be seen in the highlights. He won't be seen in all the glory moments. But it's the dirty stuff, the difficult stuff that he does that is so wonderful as Chelsea fans to watch. And really, we haven't seen a player as dominant as this in the midfield since N'Golo Kante and before him, Makelele. And I think Moises Caicedo could have a career as illustrious and as good as those two boys. And I think he's rightly in that conversation. And we're very, very lucky to have him. I think he is the type of midfielder that can change your fortunes as a football club. Do you know what I mean? He gets you far more than you'd be able to get from a comparable level player in the Premier League. And quite frankly, mate, I'm glad he's won the Player of the Season for us. He should be in the Team of the Year for the Premier League.
My Absolutely. God, I can't remember who it was. It was a popular football page the other day put out Team of the Season, and they didn't have Caicedo in there, and I was just like, I was looking at it and I was like, are you serious? Are you actually? I'm pretty sure this page had McAllister in there. It was just like, I can't believe what I'm even reading here. Caicedo walks into Team of the Season if you include all top 5 leagues. I'm not even just on about the Premier League. Young Player of the Season, we saw Tyreek George bag that one. I'm so happy for him that he got that. Obviously, young player, I think what qualifies for it is anything under 23 years old, which means that pretty much everyone in this Chelsea squad qualifies for it. So anyone could have got it. But really, I think that because of us being the youngest on average age squad in the Premier League, really we've got to look beneath 21 years old. So I'm really looking at the likes of maybe, if Romeo Lavia had more game time, obviously he's 21. But I'm looking at the Josh Changpongs, the Tyreek Georges, players that have come in there, and I think that Tyreek George really, really deserves that one. And I think it's just another sprinkle of not good fortune, but optimism of something that we've got going forward next season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really fun about this is, you look at some of the other winners of this award, right? Let's just read some of these out since 2015. You got Academy Player of the Year, Dom Solanke, Tamori, Mount, James, Gallagher, Gilmore, Livramento, Harvey Vale, Lewis Hall, Alpha Gilchrist, now Tyreek George. The fact that Tyreek George is now in that sort of calibre of players, ballers, it shows you how good this boy's career will be. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in terms of the left wing, you know, and wingers in general, to see how we do sign. And potentially, you know, fill in that space that Tyreek could play. But my God, has he deserved, you know, a starting place now? It's so funny because obviously, like, we made our substitutions yesterday, and I think the first one was Nicholas Jackson, wasn't it? I think he was the first substitution that we made. And I'm sat there in the stands going, Tyreek George should have immediately come on at that point. Like he would be the one that I would have brought on first. And that just shows you that I'm thinking that in a game against Liverpool, when, quite frankly, we needed someone to be a talismanic number 9 up front, and Tyreek George is that man at 19 years old to take that. That's big shoes to fill.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? That's not an easy position to do. And yeah, he absolutely deserves it. He's conducted himself with absolute grace. And I think really now his career will kick on and he'll progress. It will be interesting to, as I say, to see what happens. It could be a loan that he does next year, especially bearing in mind we're signing a lot of players in that position. But I really hope, mate, that he stays around. We do have to have a shout out for Josh Champong, who was you know, very close, obviously, to winning this as well. And I think he's had a wonderful season as well. And I do think that next season he may end up being the second choice right back.
I was going to say, I actually think that next season there's every opportunity that he might end up having more game time than Tyreek George. But
agreed.
Either way, I'm really buzzing with all the academy players that we've seen this season coming through. Massive feel-good factor around Stamford Bridge at the minute. And now people will want to know, well, what about your end of season awards? And listen, as I say, we've got, well, I say 4 cup finals to go. We've got 5 cup finals to go, and we got a little club friendly against your garden in between that. But we got 5
your
cup,
garden, mate.
we got 5 cup finals to go now, including an actual final. And then after that, me and you will obviously be sitting down in the studio and giving our own individual choices for Player of the Year, Surprise of the Year, Comeback of the Year. There'll be so many categories, and obviously you guys will send those in closer to the time. Tell them what we've got coming for them this week, Josh, starting with yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah. Joey and
Starting
Josh.
with yesterday, bloody hell, okay, right. So we had an unbelievable video go up yesterday, which was all about the life and times of Mick Philpott, one of the craziest and scariest men in Great Britain, quite frankly. I am terrified of this guy. It's a story which is absolutely crazy. It's got twists and turns. It's got things. It's got a Jeremy Kyle appearance. If you don't want to watch the video just for that, trust me, you're going to want to watch that.
If you're a true crime lover, this video is for you. You're
going to love it. So that was the Mick Philpott video. One of our favourites for a long time because it is mad. Yep. So obviously then we've got this video today that you're watching right now. So thank you for watching that. Tomorrow on Tuesday we will be doing a live stream. I think, Joey, should we do it from about 7ish? About 7 o'clock? Does that work for you?
Yeah, whenever.
Let's do it from 7 o'clock. And that will be twofold. And again on Joey and Josh.
No, I've got a Tommy Tank scheduled in for 7 o'clock. Can we do
7:03 then?
7:03, yeah.
We're going to be doing a public live stream to start off with. That'll be for about 45 minutes or so. And then we'll be doing a members only stream. In that members only stream, we will be also revealing the next video that we've got coming up. Yes. So you absolutely want to be a member for that. And then, Joey, the train just goes on from there. There's plenty of content. I'm sure we'll be doing lots more Chelsea content as well.
I will have the match preview for Your Garden at Stamford Bridge. That will be going out on Wednesday. Obviously, I might do a live for it. I might not. I'm undecided yet because obviously training. I've got my fight next weekend now. So I may be training, but either way you will get a match review for Your Garden, and then the following day me and the big dog are back in the studio. We will be previewing the Newcastle match on Sunday. Not only that, we'll be recording another episode of Joey and Josh. We might even do a little bit of my boxing channel. Last words, before I make my comeback to the ring. But yeah, thank you very much for staying with us and supporting us. We really appreciate it. Joey and Josh will be linked in the description to this video. So if you want to hear more from us, we're doing a lot of true crime stuff up on there. But as for now, up the Chelsea. Thank you very much for joining me again, mate. And we will see you all in the next one.